Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my videos. So according to Lazio, AC Milan have put a loan offer in for Dalot, and Fabrizio Romano has said that it includes an option to buy. But we want to get rid of Dalot permanently. Now, Dalot hasn't played for Manchester United at all so far this season. I think he has played around 34 times for the club. Dalot, I think, has been at the club now a couple of years. We did get him in Jose Mourinho's final transfer window. We paid around £19 million for him from Porto. Dalot has got a contract with us until 2023. Now, Everton have expressed their interest in him. PSG and Barcelona have also been in for him before. Our first choice right back is Wan-Bissaka. Our backup right back is Timothy Fosu-Mensah. And don't forget Brandon Williams can also be deployed as a right back. So Diego Dalot will obviously get into the team. So that's the breaking news on him. And don't forget the first part of last season he had back-to-back injuries. But I think it'd be very imperative for us to get more than £19 million that we paid for him, wouldn't it? Now, I want to delve into some news on Chris Smalling. So, Roma are preparing to put another bid in for Smalling. They've already put one bid in so far, but Manchester United had turned this down. I think we want around £18 million for Chris Smalling. Chris Smalling was out on loan with Roma last season, where I thought he was a revelation. And Solskjaer did reveal during our Europa League campaign that Smalling does still have a future at Man United, and he said he was in regular contact with Smalling whilst he was out on loan with Roma. Smalling's been part of the club though for several years. I think he must have been at Manchester United around 9 or 10 years now. He has been with us since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. I think he's just recently turned West Ham down, by the way. It says Inter Milan could also go in for Smalling if they do sell Milan Skriniar to Tottenham. So that's the breaking news on him. Now let me just delve into some news on Andreas Pereira. So Andreas Pereira's loan deal to Lazio is done. Lazio have got him on a one-season loan. It includes an option to buy for around €27 million. That equates to just over 24 million in pounds sterling. And I think it includes a 5-year contract worth around £35,000 a week. But we made the right decision by getting rid of Andreas Pereira because obviously he was struggling to get game time, wasn't he? And I just don't think he was good enough to represent Manchester United. Pereira did still have a contract with the club until 2023. He was actually no part of the club for several years. Because I think we got Andreas Pereira in 2011 from PSV Eindhoven. Then obviously, broke into our senior squad in 2014. I think Pereira made around 75 appearances for us in all competitions. Made around 45 appearances in the Premier League, and I think last season made around 40 appearances. So he has now gone. But it did say, Manchester United could sell up to 7 players this week. There's obviously no rumours of Jesse Lingard leaving the football club. Jesse Lingard's representatives have been in negotiations with a few clubs in England. It said the other week that Tottenham were interested in Jesse Lingard and Tottenham were in negotiations and Tottenham were preparing to put around the £30 million bid in. Because I think Jose Mourinho is keen on reuniting with the player because, to be fair, Lingard did quite well under the Jose Mourinho era. Lingard has been part of the club for several years. You know, he's been at Manchester United since 2000. And he's been in our senior squad since 2011. Don't forget there was a period where Lingard didn't score one goal or provide one assist in the Premier League for over a year. I think Lingard's just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. And I think Zenit St. Petersburg have recently been interested. But I think Solskjaer wants him to stay. Marcus Rojo, he's another player that Manchester United are looking to offload. Rojo hasn't really established himself as a first team regular, has he? We did get Rojo back in 2014 from Sporting Lisbon for around £16 million. And he sustained a few injuries as a Manchester United player. I think Rojo's current contract does expire next year. Rojo was out on loan with Estudiantes last season. I think we'd probably demand around £16 million to let Rojo go. Phil Jones, he's another player we're also looking to offload. We'd probably demand just over £10 million for him. Phil Jones has been with us since the Alex Ferguson era. I think he's been with us now around 10 years, and I think we paid just over £16 million for him from Blackburn. Don't forget Sergio Romero, he's also open to leaving the football club because Romero is now third choice goalkeeper because Dean Henderson recently returned. And Romero's not going to want to stay at Manchester United as third choice goalkeeper. Romero has endured 5 years at the club. We obviously got him on a free from San Pandora back in 2015, but he's always been our backup goalkeeper since his arrival. Last season, Romero, I think, played in all our cup games apart from, the semi-finals. Romero, I think, just got under a year left on his Man United contract, but the club do have an option to extend it for a further year. I think Romero's played around 61 games for the club. And I think we'd probably get around £5 or £6 million for him. But likes of Valencia have been in for him, Leeds, Everton, Aston Villa, they've also been in for him. Now, I want to delve into some news on Alex Telles from Porto. So, Alex Telles will be a Manchester United player in the coming days. Alex Telles has already agreed personal terms with the football club, and he has agreed a 5-year contract with Manchester United worth around £70,000 a week. We are still in negotiations with Porto over a fee because a fee has not yet come to an agreement. Now, there was reports saying yesterday night that Manchester United had put an initial bidding of £12 million. But Porto have already revealed their asking price. They said they want around £18 million for Alex Telles. Because they've already lowered their asking price once because of the first. Porto said that they wanted in the £20 million range. But Alex Telles has recently urged Porto to lower their asking price. Alex Telles has already confirmed that he does want to leave Porto. Now, Telles is into the final year of his contract. So from a Porto perspective, they'd rather cash in for him now rather than letting go on a free next year. If Porto do sell him, they do have to pay 10% of the transfer fee to Galatasaray due to the sell-on clause. Now, Telles does have a release clause of around £36 million, but it's unlikely that Porto are going to demand his release clause. He has been at Porto now for a good 4 years or so. Obviously, before he was at Porto, he had a loan spell with Inter Milan. Before he was at Inter Milan, he was at Galatasaray. When he was younger, he played for Grêmio and Juventude. He is the age of 27, so he's highly experienced, and he is predominantly a left-back. And Manchester United are obviously in search for a left-back because we've got 2 predominant left-backs in the team at the moment, and that's obviously Luke Shaw. He's our first choice left-back, but my element of concern about him is injury-prone, and Brandon Williams, he's our backup left-back. But Porto's boss did recently make an admission, didn't he? saying that Alex Telles, could leave in the next fortnight. So I think he's probably going to be our second signing in this summer transfer window. We've looked at a couple of alternatives to him. We've looked at that Tagliafico from Ajax. We've also looked at Torre from Monaco. So, yeah. Let me just delve into some more news on Jadon Sancho from Borussia Dortmund. So, Manchester United are confident that they will sign Jadon Sancho. Solskjaer has told Jadon Sancho that a deal will be done because Solskjaer's held several talks with Sancho, and I think Sancho's already notified Solskjaer that he wants to play for the football club. Now, Matt Judge, he recently flew out to Germany to negotiate a deal. Now, like it's already said, we are preparing to put a £90 million bidding for Sancho this week. So we're going to be offering like 75 million up front with 15 million in add-ons. Obviously, Dortmund's valuation is around £108 million, and they do remain ruthless over their valuation, but over the course of this Jadon Sancho transfer saga, it has been Borussia Dortmund's asking price that has been the stumbling block because we've not been determined to meet what they're demanding. Dortmund are basically asking for more up front. Now, obviously, David Ornstein from The Athletic, he recently provided us with an update on Sancho, and he said that, that the terms have been agreed on a long-term contract, and he did mention that Manchester United are now looking at alternatives. The recent alternative we've been looking at is Ismaila Sarr from Watford. Ismaila Sarr would probably cost us at least £40 million. It said not so long ago that Dortmund were interested in him. Ismaila Sarr is obviously proven in the Premier League now. Watford did get him last year for around £30 million from Rennes. Before he was at Rennes, he was at Metz. And he's under contract with Watford until 2024. Liverpool have recently been interested. He is a winger, and I think he's the age of 22, is he? Ousmane Dembele, he's another alternative we've been looking at. Antoine Fati Vieira, he's another alternative. Douglas Costa, he's another alternative. But there is cheaper solutions than Sancho. Fabrizio Romano has spoken about the Sancho saga quite a few times, and he still believes that Sancho wants to come to Manchester United. But around, was it 4 or 5 weeks ago, Sancho to Manchester United looked dead in the water because Dortmund said to us that we had until the 10th of August to sign the player. We obviously missed out on that deadline, so Sancho decided to go out on pre-season, and it also mentioned we'd abandoned our chase for the player until next summer. And don't forget Sebastian Kehl, Borussia Dortmund's head of football. He recently said that Sancho is staying at Dortmund and he won't be leaving, and he says Manchester United have got no chance of getting him in a cut price deal. What Sebastian Kehl said, Michael Zorg, Borussia Dortmund's sporting director, he said the exact same thing. Lucien Favre a few weeks ago, their boss, he said the exact same thing. But Solskjaer has been infuriated over this Jadon Sancho transfer saga. I've been very infuriated over it, to be honest with you, because we've been in for him for like the last 3 years. He's obviously our number one priority target. If we don't get him this week, then we may never sign Sancho because I think we'll face competition for him next year. Maybe the likes of Madrid, Barcelona and Liverpool, maybe even Chelsea could go in for him. Don't forget Liverpool and Chelsea were in for him before. But we are not giving up on the signing of the player. And I've already outlined the reasons why I want him at the football club is because I think he'd exceed expectations in the Premier League. He's got a very, very good friendship with Marcus Rashford. He's predominantly a right winger and he's still very, very young. I think this is Sancho's fourth season with Dortmund, but since his arrival in Germany has been a revelation. He's still got a contract with Dortmund till 2022. Dortmund only paid £8 million to him from Manchester City in 2017. The main explanation why he left Manchester City is because he didn't get assured any first team opportunities. And before he was at City, he was at Watford from the age of 7 to the age of 14. We know that he will be our next number 7 if he signs, because we know that he'd fulfill number 7 well, and we have got number 7 vacant at the moment. But we have had a lot of good number 7s up and down the generations. And like I've said to Dortmund have let quite a few of their big names go in recent years. They let likes of Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang go, they let Pulisic go, they let Ilkay Gundogan go, they let Mkhitaryan go, they let Ousmane Dembele go, Lewandowski, Matt Hummels, they let Kagawa go at one point. But they've recruited some good players in recent years. Don't forget they got Bellingham. They got Haaland in January. That's one player we missed out on under Solskjaer. They also brought the likes of Julian Braun in, Thorgan Hazard. Don't forget they got Emre Can permanently. So that's some more news on Sancho. But yeah, like I've said to we're in the final week now of the transfer window. Man United are expected to make around 2 signings this week. As it stands at the moment, we've only made 1 signing, and that was Donny van de Beek. We got him in a deal worth £40 million. Donny van de Beek obviously signed a 5-year contract with Manchester United to keep him at the club until 2025, and there's also an option of a further year. It's a good signing because I think he's enjoyed a fantastic start to his Manchester United career. Did well in the 1-0 loss to Villa in pre-season, which was his debut. Did well on the opening game against Palace, despite the fact we'd lost. Van de Beek came on and scored on his Premier League debut. I think he did also well against Luton in the Carabao Cup, and he recently did well against Brighton. But we know that we need more than Donny van de Beek. We're looking to strengthen up in key areas, and like I've said to you, I think Man United need a right winger. Like I said, I think we need a left back. We do need a centre half, but we're not going to get a centre half in this summer transfer. I think we're going to wait until next summer to get a centre half in. We need someone to go alongside Maguire. We've got around 7 centre halves in our team. But you can see that Solskjaer's trying to improve the squad and he's trying to change the culture of the club. But Solskjaer recently revealed that he has been very, very infuriated with the board. Main explanation is over the lack of transfer business in this summer transfer window. And I think up until this point, Solskjaer's not been backed enough as Manchester United manager. And I think he does deserve more backing, and hopefully he will get more backing this week. But we've been very critical of the board anyway for several years. Reflecting on how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've also overpaid for players. I think in the last 7 years we have made a lot of mistakes, and that's one of the main explanations why we've been so inconsistent. I think the managers that we've had since Ferguson retired haven't been backed enough. Woodward's been at the football club since 2012, and the Glazers have been at the football club since 2005. And, Manchester United have been demanding them out. Matt Judge as well. Some people believe he's to blame for the failure of transfers. But this summer transfer window is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 4th transfer window as Manchester United manager. And he's even publicly admitted that Manchester United have got to spend money. We've got to make at least a couple of more signings if we are to mount any title challenge up. I think we are at least 3 to 4 years off from winning the Premier League title. And obviously, this season is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 2nd full season at the football club. And I said, this season is big for Solskjaer because he knows that he's got to exceed his expectations if he is to keep his job at Manchester United. Now, I think he's got to guide us to a top four finish this season, and he's also got to win a trophy as Solskjaer if he is to keep his job at Man United. This is what Roy Keane had recently mentioned. We definitely need to win a trophy under the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer era because we've not yet won out in terms of silverware under Solskjaer, and he has been at the football club now for almost 2 years, and we haven't won a trophy for over 3 years. You know, the last time we won a trophy was under the Jose Mourinho era when we won the Europa League and League Cup in his first season. But we're 3 games into this season so far. Like I said, we lost our first game against Crystal Palace 3-1. That was our worst defeat on an opening day of a Premier League season since 1995. And it was the second season in a row that Crystal Palace had beaten us at Old Trafford in the Premier League. But since then, we bounced back. We've won our last 2 games. You know, we beat Luton in the Carabao Cup 3-0. And then we recently beat Brighton by 3-2. But there's a lot of Manchester United fans that don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is the right manager. And there's some Man United fans that have said, you know, we've got to sack him and we've got to get a manager in with a proven pedigree. Solskjaer obviously hasn't got a proven pedigree. He's gained some managerial experience, obviously, you know, reflecting how long he's been at Manchester United. You know, Man United is the third club in his managerial career. He has won 51 games out of the 92 games he's managed so far at the club. Before he was with us, he was at Mould. Won a few Norwegian titles with them. And before that, he was at Cardiff. Solskjaer's record at Cardiff was disastrous. And the main explanation he got sacked from Cardiff is because he ended up getting Cardiff relegated. But I would still... I still would give Solskjaer more time, and I can give you more of a perception on him when we delve more into the season. Like I said, you know, we've had some good periods under Solskjaer, and we've also had some bad periods under him. Don't get me wrong, I've taken positives from his tenure so far. You know, he's made some good signings so far. He's spent around £240 million at the football club. He's also got rid of a lot of the deadwood since he got recommended into Manchester United. I like the way he's also promoted the youth. And don't forget, you know, went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions. Went on a 14-game unbeaten run in the league until Crystal Palace had beaten us. You know, Solskjaer did very, very well in that 3-month period when he was the interim manager. And I think certain players have also improved under him. So these positives to take. But like I said, you know, when Solskjaer first got appointed in as Manchester United manager, he was inheriting a squad that was worth £700 million. Because he's inheriting a lot of players here from the Jose Mourinho era, still a few players here from the Louis van Gaal era, still one player here from the Moyes era, and still a few players here from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. But like I've said, it's a transition period at Man United, and it has been a transition period for a while. You know? It's been a transition period for a while, hasn't it? But last season was Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's first full season at the football club, wasn't it? And to be fair, he did exceed most of his expectations. He obviously got us qualification for the Champions League. We also finished third. That's the second highest we've finished since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. And we also progressed to 3 semi-finals. Solskjaer is our 4th permanent manager since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. We've sacked 3 managers since the Sir Alex Ferguson era, and that was obviously Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. But in the last 7 years, we haven't only had different managers with different philosophies. We've spent close to the £1 billion range on players, and we've recruited over 30-odd players in since the Sir Alex Ferguson era. I think a lot of the players we've brought in the last 7 years haven't been the right calibre players for Man United. We've also give a lot of players new contracts over the years, and to be fair, we've extended a lot of players' contracts since Solskjaer came in as well. We've also got players on substantial wages at the football club. You know, you've got De Gea on 375 grand a week, is it? De Gea is obviously going to remain our number one this season, even though I did say Dean Henderson should be our number one, because I think Dean Henderson's now reliable enough to come our number one, but I think maybe in the next season or two he will be our number one. Dean Henderson's on 120 grand a week now, because a few weeks ago he signed a 6-year deal with Man United. Harry Maguire, isn't he on like 200 odd grand a week? Brandon Williams is on quite a bit now, because not so long ago he signed a 4-year deal with the club. You've got Rashford, he's on 200 odd grand a week. Martial, he's on 200 odd grand a week. You've got Pogba on just under 300 grand a week. Lingard, he's on around 100 grand a week. So yeah, players are on substantial wages, aren't they? But like I've said, I want Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial tenure to work out, because at the end of the day, we love him a lot. He was a great player for the football club for 11 years. He flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. As it stands at the moment, we are still the most successful team in Premier League history, because obviously, we've won 20 titles and 13 of them are Premier Leagues, but we have not won the Premier League since 2013. So last time we won it was under the Sir Alex Ferguson era. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.